Hello everyone, this is Annette Stanton. I hope you're having a fabulous day. I want to share with you about something that I continually face, being on the leading edge, and this is about the aloneness that can occur inside each and every one of those people who are either starting something new. You, especially if you're in the creative industry and you're starting and developing something from nothing that is from your heart and soul. And it's like, you have a sense from inside out, a deep inner vision, an inner calling, a sense that that I want to develop this service, this product, there's something inside that I want to be of service to. And I know, and when you know inside, there's a knowing. Okay. The challenge that I've always had all my life is that I've had a deep knowing inside that I've continued to follow. The challenge with that is that when you're on the leading edge, the world might not be ready to understand, to hear, to have an acceptance. Because when you're on the leading edge, it's not already delivered and proven to work, the trialling and testing of whatever the service and the product might be. Now, the challenge here is, this is what I've faced all my life, being always on the leading edge and listening in. It's pretty scary and it's alone. So I get, if you're feeling that way, it's normal to feel that way. And it's a persistent and a consistent game. So along the way, as I've been listening in and tuning in, what I noticed was that I got lost, and I've allowed the voices on the outside, the opinions on the outside, the experts on the outside to actually tell me what was going to work for the market today. Now, absolutely right. That is what's going to work for the market today. The challenge that I've always had is putting, bringing it back to the knowing that I know and bringing it back to where people are at now. It means a combination of both. So if you're an entrepreneurial type person who is quite creative, it is important to listen in to the inner vision, the inner calling, the inner. The challenge that a lot of entrepreneurial spirit type people have is lots of ideas. It's listening into what you know is your next step, and how do you then create that to its fullest completion so that traction can occur in the market today. So this is one of the challenges that I have faced because of my evolving nature. I evolved so quickly. So for example, once I'd had my first website up and running, I didn't feel like it was me, even when the publishing button occurred. The same with my book. When the book was published, I felt like I'd already evolved from that. So it's true, you possibly have evolved from that, and more than likely have when you evolve at a rate that I know I do, because of the awareness that I have each and every day. It's how do you stay grounded and still be inside the product and the service, whatever that might be for you, in this moment, being of service to the customers, the people who get you now, and using the language that they understand now, and continue to evolve in your way, because these people, there will be people who have evolved at different rates, get a level of understanding, they'll be in different positions. So this is where you can actually define your business packages as such, depending on where people are at, okay? And then, one of the things that I've noticed is personally, I love one-on-one coaching. The reason I love that is I can get deeper into the evolution of that human being quicker than what I can in a group or a workshop scenario. So I offer all of those areas, but I know that that one-on-one is something that really gives me my juice at another level. So it's interesting because I'm even speaking to you now, I'm processing and remembering the different phases that, and what occurs to me. For example, I'm thinking about workshops, and I used to do a lot of workshops, and I'd stopped and I thought there was something that just wasn't bringing joy. But what I understand now is that there's a content part of that, as well as intuition, as well as sharing your information and knowledge, that's where people are at the start. So literally when I think about it, I've had to take myself back to when I first started. I gained a lot of information and knowledge around personal development, around business, and around humanistic behaviour, around leadership, all these particular areas that were going to support me to run a life and business that I absolutely loved. So it's interesting. So depending on where you're at in your entrepreneurial spirit, I just want to come back to the ideas person, making sure that you gain traction and, supporting your entrepreneurial spirit in all those particular areas that you absolutely love, without maintaining being grounded, okay? So sometimes we can jump all over the place and not be grounded. So one of the things that's always been my grounding is the inner vision of the inner next step that I know each moment of each day that then creates the foundation. So I have personal foundations and I have business foundations. They're the things that create the roots, the groundedness, that maintain the traction in your personal life and your business life, so that you can create strong emotional intelligence and stay grounded and focused in the areas that that give you traction, that give you consistent cash flow, and also that has what your obvious next steps are in your creative nature, without jumping all over the place and chasing the next shiny bright object. And that's the same with when you go out networking. If you're listening to a lot of speakers, as I used to do, which is fabulous. It's all very, information and knowledge is powerful, yes, but what is even more powerful is knowing, what it is that you've learned, or what it is that what wisdom you already have inside of yourself. Are you applying that? So that's one of the things that I work with my clients on initially, so that they can gain the clarity and the confidence and the freedom to take the next step action of their inner knowing, their inner wisdom around whatever subject. And then we look at what are the areas that you don't know around that you may then need to learn about, but then what subject and what area in that subject that you need to be learning about, without jumping all over the place and learning lots of knowledge and lots of information without applying, which is what I used to do in my personal training days. I used to do a lot of that, and as I was transitioning into my coaching business, I became a collector of information and knowledge, which was great, but I felt overwhelmed in applying it. I didn't know how to differentiate. I didn't know how to decompartmentalize it to put it into my personal and business foundation, so that the traction of my business could take place. So this is something that I love. It's the three areas: is the vision, the foundations, and the mindset. So these are the three areas that I know have been a consistent in my having a successful life and business from inside out, so that I could stay grounded and become the speaker and the coach and the author that I naturally am, and the presence that I sustain in who I am each and every day, no matter where I am. So these are the things that I absolutely have lived. I've breathed it. I believe in it. I've studied it, and I'm certified and credentialed in these areas. So this is something that you would like supporting in how to maintain, unleash the vision and the power of your vision within, how to create solid foundations so that you can stand on the clarity of your direction and the confidence of your everyday way of action steps, knowing that that's going to create freedom to expand on yourself and your business naturally as you move forward. So thank you for listening in. Have a fabulous day. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a line, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you, and bye for now.